members of the public that I have spoken to and who have inquired about your non-involvement in the shadow cabinet is the fact that you have been a member of government. You have served in an administration where you actually, prove your work.
Does Raymond Pryce has a future with the People's National Party? This is Cover Story Highlights. Let's get after it. But before we do, let me invite you to subscribe, like, share, and comment on the content. Raymond Pryce's political journey has hit what many consider to be a turbulent patch since his loss in the St Bess North East seat and a subsequent resignation as Deputy General Secretary of the People's National Party in 2016. Despite his efforts to regain prominence within the party, he has faced setbacks, including a failed bid in the 2020 general election. Pryce's inability to secure a significant role within the party raises questions about his political future. In part 1 of an exclusive interview with Pryce, Cover Story Highlights aim to shed light on the challenges he faced and the factors contributing to his current position within the party.
The issue that the public has, or members of the public that I have spoken to and who have inquired about your non-involvement in the shadow cabinet, is the fact that you have been a member of government. You have served in an administration where you actually, prove your worth. So why then at this point that and yes, we get it that it is a prerogative of the leader. What is out there in the space is that there is something going on in the PNP as it relates to you while you're being sidelined in a lot of respects. Can you address that?
Listen, so even in going about my business during the course of a regular day, people come up to me and they ask me all sorts of things about the PNP. Even in the parking lot, before coming up here, this lady came and said, "We're not doing it this time, we want it landslide like 2011. So people see me as a contact point for information about things PNP. So that won't change. I'm on side. I am fully on board with my team, and my team is the People's National Party. With respect to the appointments to the shadow cabinet, it is indeed entirely the gift and the privilege, the prerogative of the leader of the opposition. And some of the new persons appointed need their profiles elevated and burnished in a way that that I don't need because of my antecedents, my history, some of the achievements while I served as a member of parliament. So to comment to people thinking that I've been sidelined, well, beauty is in the eyes of the beholder. I certainly don't behold it in a way that would suggest that I've been sidelined.
You were a part of the shadow cabinet prior to the recent change. So,
in a sense, yes. The previous iteration had a portfolio of justice and information. And the person with responsibility for that portfolio was Senator Donna Scott Motley. I was articled to her as her deputy and specifically with responsibility for information. When the new announcement or when the new design was announced, that portfolio did not exist. And
information still exists.
Well, it's information and public communication.
Yes, I think.
Or public education with DGS Nikisha Birchall. And that's fine because it's also, I think the easiest way to look at it is that it's a testimony or a testament, if you prefer, to the depth of talents in the People's National Party. And I think the public will come to know the spokespersons and come to their own conclusions, as fortunately for me, they have concluded that I'm an asset to the process.
It's also in the public domain, Mr. Pryce, that you're being sidelined in the party because you were a supporter of the one PNP fraction of the party, and the risers, as they're called, they're now the dominant force in the party now.
Well, for that one, I can say it this way. History teaches. February marks 22 years since I've been a member of the People's National Party by way of the PNP Patriots. Prior to joining the PNP, when I was still a youngster, and then Prime Minister Michael Manley and party leader stepped down, the two candidates were Portia Simpson and PJ Patterson. Quite famously, and perhaps to the chagrin of my father, I supported Portia Simpson in 1992. I was not a member of the party, I did not have a vote, but I was more aware of who Portia was because at St. George's, while she was the Minister of Labour, she would often come over and interact with students at St. George's, and she just had this larger than life persona. In the 2006 period, then you started to have what was called the Peter and the Portia camps. And in the 2008 period, I stood with and campaigned with Comrade Portia Simpson Miller. There are people who were close to me from the Patriots that were annoyed at my choice. Look here, when the time came and there was a runoff by Carl Blythe, well, let's not spend a lot of time on that one. The next real contest would have come after the 2016 election defeat, and it was clear that Mrs. Simpson Miller was going to be stepping down. There was not a contest to replace her. Peter Phillips was the only person nominated, and I'm a firm believer that the office must be respected, perhaps even more than the officer, because if all of us respect the office even more than the officer, then the deference to the office will automatically be applied to the officer, whoever he or she is, for the time they hold that office. In the 2019 contest between Peter Bunting and Peter Phillips, as an adherent to the institution and not just the individuals, I stood with, campaigned for, and supported the incumbent president at the time, Dr. Peter Phillips. I deliberately did not take a public role in the campaigning of 2020 November because by then, based on my line of sight, and there were still some people that would come to me personally and say, boy, you should have never did support Portia in 2008. By then it was 12 years. So I thought to ensure that there would have been enough true, recognizable members of the PNP that could face the internal public of the party and face the various external publics of the society and speak on behalf of Team PNP without a reference to either the One PNP or the Rise United or the Go with Golding or the Bring Back the Love, which was Lisa's campaign slogan. And I believe that the recent history has confirmed that my point of view was an accurate one. Because going back to your point, oftentimes you will hear a party officer make a statement and people still ask, is that statement nuanced because of who you supported or did not support? And right now, especially on the eve of local government elections and soon thereafter general elections, the only entity that I am in support of, the only entity I'm speaking about is a whole People's National Party and not groupings or cliques or factions within the People's National Party.
Do you think the People's National Party is united?
I think that there is unity of focus. I don't know if any organization, including organizations where the rank on your right shoulder, your epaulets or your sleeve or your wrist commands and forces the person lower in rank being instructed to carry out the command. I don't even think in those organizations you have 100% perfect unity each day, because there could be an issue that arises that some members of the party figure that this is the view, and others believe that there's a different view. What you have to do in an organization is that where the critical mass goes, when the decision is made, if you cannot be on team, then you exit. If you are going to remain on team, then you support the consensus position.
Do you think that you're getting the kind of recognition from the leadership of the PNP now that you really deserve as an active member of the party?
I don't start my day contemplating the recognition I'm supposed to get, and my focus is not Raymond centered. My focus is people centered.
How would you describe the relationship between you and the leader of the party, Mark Golding?
Oh, I believe I have a good relationship with the party president, and I base my response in the fact and the truth of the interactions we have had. I may not take up the phone and call him and says, you know what, party leader, there's this great play that Dawkins has and I'm gonna go, do you want to come? However, if I am reviewing the news and something comes up, such as recently what is unfolding with Israel and Hamas, I will say, based on what the party has put out, leader, could you consider this, could you consider that? And that has always been my want.
Do you think you could offer more to the party presently?
You know, that question you should probably ask my family members, because I don't think they think I can. But put it this way, I am a participant and not an observer in the evolving life of the people of Jamaica. And when I see something that is significant enough, substantial enough, that causes me to need to respond sufficiently, I advocate for it. I think if I would describe myself as one of my strengths is that at my core, I'm an advocate for people's causes, and if it is important enough, I will not stop until the appropriate response is implemented.
And are you satisfied with the kind of responses that you get from your advocacy for the people within the party circle?
Yes, I am. Because a lot of it is to be revealed, isn't it? Not. We are on, I've mentioned it before, elections are imminent. Not everything, notwithstanding the Gleaner's editorial of January 25, not everything is going to be delivered on the same day and at the same time, because politics, if nothing else, depends on timing. Politics does. So there are, the record is there.
I was told by the General Secretary that part of the reason why you weren't appointed to the shadow cabinet was because you have resigned from your position over there in Portmore.
Well, if that's what the General Secretary told you, any further inquiry on that would have to be taken up directly between yourselves.
Have you resigned?
And that was Cover Story Highlights. Tune in again next time for part 2 of this exclusive interview with Raymond Pryce. In the meantime, please subscribe, like, share, and comment.